without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, the things we've been through. Then I'll be standing right here talking to you. Got another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place. How can we not talk about living with families all that we got? Everything I believe you was standing there by my side. And now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
Been a long day without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. Come a long way from where we began. So I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Rush your boat, go out your way in the vibe. It's feeling strong and what's small. Turn to a friendship turn to a bond, and that bond will never be broken. The love will never get lost. And when brotherhood comes first, then the line will never be crossed. Established it on our own, and that line had to be drawn, and that line is what we reach. So remember me when I'm gone. How can we not talk about living with families all that we got? Everything I was doing was standing there by my side. And now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
Let the light guide
Every 15 minutes, someone dies in an alcohol-related collision. We're constantly reminded of the what-ifs of drinking and driving, but never actually realize that those what-ifs could turn into realities. Granite Bay High School and our community experienced this tragic loss yesterday morning.
Yesterday, we lost friends, teachers, daughters, sons, and siblings. Our community will never be the same as we mourn the lives that were lost. The decision that Frank Cusano made changed his life forever while taking the lives of others. His choice of getting behind the wheel intoxicated led to Aiden Ferrante, Seton Foon, and Catherine Burgess' death. Today we gather to mourn the lives of those who were taken too soon from drinking and driving.
Because of Frank's poor choice, Bella Ferrante will not get to see her brother Aiden graduate high school or see him pursue his dream of playing baseball in college. Seton's family will not see him swim another race or continue to grow up with his little sister Maddie. Catherine's absence will forever leave an empty hole in the hearts of her closest friends and family.
Frank's one decision came at the expense of his D1 scholarship at Washington State University. The consequences of Frank's actions will continue to impact him in every step of his life while he attempts to manage the guilt that will constantly haunt him.
We urge you to think twice before getting behind the wheel while under the influence. We hope you use this experience as a reminder as to why you should reconsider your actions while driving impaired. I'm Adajari Williams.
I'm Delaney Keith, and we would now like to introduce Principal Sloan, followed by a media production.
Good afternoon. I'd like to start by thanking all of you for being here, the parents, teachers, students, and first responders who made the last 24 hours happen. This is not an easy event to pull off. The hours invested into the crash scene, the Walking Dead, the evening activities, and finally today's assembly are too numerous to count. Thank you all for caring enough to make a difference in the lives of Granite Bay High School students. Who knows how many lives you've saved. I stand before you as the proud principal of Granite Bay High School, but also as a concerned parent. Parents understand the hopes and dreams we invest in our children. The idea that a moment of impaired judgment could snatch away the bright futures we envision for them is a fear that lingers in the heart of every parent. The impact of such incidents extends far beyond the individuals involved. Families are torn apart, communities are left to grieve, and a void is created by these senseless acts. It is out of collective responsibility to prevent these tragedies and teach that the choices our children make on the road can shape the course of their lives and the lives of others. I've seen the promise and potential in the eyes of our students, and it pains me to think that one poor decision could derail that future. The reality is when you are out on the road, there is always the possibility of danger that only caution and experience can help to mitigate. When alcohol and drugs are involved, however, even below the legal limit, or distracted driving is involved, the danger increases immensely. The point of the Every 15-Minute program today is to help all of us, you, the students, your friends, parents, and the adults, to make better choices and communicate that wisdom to those we love to help protect them. Actions have consequences, and some cannot be taken back or corrected. There are heavy hearts today thinking about how this could affect any of us. Please give support and encouragement where you can to help everyone process this day, as these feelings can be overwhelming, and yet we share them in the hopes that no one has to experience it again. Thank you, and now the media production from our media students.
Guys, you go over this question, right?
What time do you get home?
11, 12 or so.
Oh, you say it. Alright.
Pumpkin pie, chocolate candy, Jesus Christ, there ain't nothing please me more than you. Oh, let me go home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Oh, let me go home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Alabama, she grew up on the side of the road where the church bells ring and strong love grows. She grew up good, she grew up slow, like American honey. Steady as a preacher, free as a weed, couldn't wait to get going. American honey.
So show me family, all the blood that I will bleed. I don't know where I belong, I don't know where I went wrong. I can write a song. I belong, you belong, you're my sweet home. I belong, you belong.
I'm all love you, ready to get some ice cream.
I love you. I love you, Trixie. Always.
Shiver, stop, shiver.
of a vehicle accident in front of Granite Bay High, 1 Grizzly Way.
Dispatch, 16th arrived. We have 2 vehicles, major damage. Roadway's blocked. We'll be out checking for patients.
Catherine, you can say something, Catherine. Wake up.
Pick it up, and start again. You've got a second chance, you could go home, escape it all, it's just irrelevant. It's just medicine. What did you do? It's just medicine. Get away from me! What did you do? What did you do? You could still be what you want to, what you said you were when I met you. You've got a warm heart, you've got a beautiful brain, but it's disintegrating. From all the medicine, from all the medicine, from all the you could still be what you want to be, what you said you were when you met me. You could still be what you want to, what you said you were when I met you, when you met me, when I met you.
See, that's me, Steve. I'm Calvin. I'll be the medic in the back. Can't feel the chest right here? Okay. That face, right side of the line.
Yes, sir. Over here.
I get to see you. I just can't wait to see you.
Were you the driver or the passenger?
I wasn't driving.
Was driver? Oh, okay. Hey, good morning. This is Southwest Fire District Medic 16. We'll be coming from the Granite Bay High School every 15 minutes. We'll be coming in a Code 3 trauma today. We have multiple lacerations to the head, as well as some abrasions as well in the face. We have a laceration to the right side of the neck.
He was my best friend. All the memories that I can't escape. There's still so much I wanna say. It's so much harder now with hate.
This passenger was unrestrained. No seatbelts were worn by the passenger in the head-on collision, going about 65 miles an hour.
I get to see you.
Massive facial injuries. She was unresponsive at scene. We gave her a GCS of 6. The vital signs of CBD sleeping. We might be intubating her pupils or a little slug. Please, by precaution, we threw an IV in route.
See you again. Promise me that this is not the end. I just can't wait. I just can't wait to see you again. Right here. I wish that you were right here. Tell you what I was too scared to. I tell you just how much I miss you.
She did. Oh my God. Oh my God, Jean.
Just how much I love you.
Oh my God,
I wanna take you somewhere, you know I care, but it's so cold and I don't know where. I brought you daffodils on a pretty string, but they won't flower like they did last spring. On another love, oh my tears have been used all on another love, oh my tears have been used all on another love, oh my tears have been used all.
All rise. The Superior Court of the State of California, in Florida County Placer, is now in session. The Honorable Stephen J. Howell has presided. Thank you. Please be seated.
Calling the case of the people of the state of California versus Frank Casano. This is the time and place set for sentencing. The court has read and considered the evidence in this case, the sentencing briefs submitted by the defense and the prosecution. Do the people have comments or presentation regarding sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor. We have Mrs. Matheson, the aunt of Aiden Ferrante, one of the 3 victims in this case, who is here to provide a victim impact statement.
Thank you. Ms. Matheson, would you please come forward?
Today I stand before this court with my heart heavy in grief to speak on behalf of my precious nephew. He is like a son to me. Aiden was a bright, compassionate, and aspiring young man full of dreams and potential. He had a smile that could light up the room and a heart that was just open to everyone. His future was brimming with promise. The pain of losing him is immeasurable. It's not just like the void in our lives, but the dreams that never fulfilled. The milestones never celebrated and the laughter never shared. He'll never be able to fill his lifelong dream of playing baseball in college, or even see his 18th birthday. Your Honor, I implore you to consider the devastating impact of this loss on our family and the community. We hope that this tragedy serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of driving under the influence. No one should endure the pain we have felt and continue to feel every day. May my nephew's memory live on, not as a victim of a terrible accident, but as a beacon of hope, a reminder that choices have consequences, and a call for a safer future. Thank you for allowing me to share this. Thank you.
Mr. Casano, the court has considered all the submitted materials as well as the statements provided here today. Despite not setting out that night to cause the death of 3 of your classmates, that is exactly what you did. 3 best friends to someone. 3 sons and daughters to someone. 3 people who, unlike you, will not graduate from Granite Bay High School, will never go to college. All because, despite the warnings and the drunk driving campaigns at school, you chose to become intoxicated and drive. Given all the considered factors, I'm going to sentence you to 10 years in prison. The defendant is hereby remanded to the Sheriff of the County of Placer to be delivered to the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. The case is adjourned.
Once was a season of infinite light, where the distance from heaven was not far behind. I was close to you. I was close to you. Carry me back to that moment in time when the colors and fragments were beautifully bright. How I long for you. How I long for you. 'Cause out here in the dark, underneath the canopy of stars, constellations falling from your heart. They tell me that I'm not alone, 'cause honestly I'm so alone. Promise me I'm not alone.
Early morning, there's a message on my phone. It's my mother saying, darling, please come home. I fear the worst, but how could you leave us all behind? There's so much to say, but there's so little time. So how do I say goodbye? Someone who's been with me for my whole damn life. You gave me my name and the color of your eyes. See your face when I look at mine. So how do I say goodbye? When I couldn't, you always saw the best in me. Right or wrong, you were always on my side. But I'm scared of what life without you's like. And I saw the way she looked into your eyes. And I promise if you go, I will make sure she's alright. So how do I say goodbye? Someone who's been with me for my whole damn life. You gave me my name and the color of your eyes. See your face when I look at mine. So how do I say goodbye?
Media for that wonderful production. And now we'll have Tom Graston, who will share a personal story about how he was affected by drunk driving.
I'll make sure okay, you can hear me now. Well, what a great job on the video. I'm telling you, this was a little bit too real for me. Watching that video brought back a lot of hurt, a lot of bad feelings, but I just have to congratulate all the parents that stepped up and played a role. Congratulations. And I always like thanking the students that played a role. That was really hard as well and really difficult, especially being the drunk driver, being the most hated person on campus right now. But that's really tough. I'd like to introduce you to my family. If we can switch the slides. In the middle, that's my son Dalton. Sorry, I only have a small space, I can move around here. That's my son Dalton, and to the right is my nephew Matt, who I'm here to talk about today. And that's my youngest son Dylan to the left. Can I get the next slide? So they all grew up together and being a close-knit family, a Portuguese family. Every holiday was celebrated together, every vacation was celebrated together. They were always back and forth in each other's homes. Matt was very scared of the dark. He's very claustrophobic, and I remember one time he was over visiting with us, and he always had to have the light on. And I remember they had been asleep for about an hour, and my wife and I were going to bed. I went to turn off the light, and as soon as I turned off the light went right back on. It's like he had a sensor. So, you know, being very claustrophobic, you know, like, and as you find out more what happened, you know, that played a big role. If I get the next slide. This is Matt with his older brother, Chris. They were just the two brothers, and Chris went through a big change in his life after the accident. Chris became less outgoing, more in front of playing video games, more secluded himself, didn't want to participate a lot, and he's come a long way now. And it's just a ripple effect that affects so many people in the family. Can I get the next slide? When Matt passed, the park filled up, and they had a memorial for him. And we just couldn't believe the stories we heard. We learned so much about Matt that night. And one by one, kids stood on top of a picnic table and told a story about Matt, how Matt was like one of their favorite people, how Matt was funny, how Matt would drive them places. He was known for his bear hugs. And all through his school, when we visited his school, they said, you know, Matt would come in, and every time you see Matt would be giving his bear hugs. Matt was that kind of guy. He really cared about a lot of people. He was a very sensitive person. As a matter of fact, he used to stand outside our home when we had a party just to make sure nobody was drinking and driving. He was that, you know, like he was always so attentive to everybody else. Can I get the next one? After the crash, this is the site of the crash, in which I'll get into more detail. But this is all we have. All this happened. He was 19 years old when we lost him. And it just happened just like that, just like when you're not expecting it. Can I get the last slide? Tell you how this happened. There's a beach in Sacramento called Paradise Beach. Paradise Beach is a beach where a lot of kids go and hang out. There's bonfires, parties, smoke pot, drink. And on this night, what happened was there was a big bonfire that was planned, and then they were supposed to be going to a party afterwards. So one of the guys that was supposed to be there, he ended up having to work, so he was being pointed out as being the designated driver. So they were all going to go down. There's a handful of them. They were going down to the bonfire. They were going to get drunk. They were all going to pile into this guy's car when he's done off work, and they were going to go to the party. It didn't happen that way because The young guy that was supposed to be driving ended up not being able to come. So he called Matt, and what they had to do was find another ride over to this party. And one guy put up his hand, he says, you know what? I've been sipping this beer all night. I'm not even drinking that much. I'm being deployed tomorrow. So, I'll gladly drive. And so they all piled into a car. There was 8 of them. 2 of them were children. One was a year old and the other one was 3. And Matt, when they're all piled in the car, Matt said they need to have the car seats in there. So they put the car seats in, and they weren't going far. And Matt, who was so claustrophobic, turned around and said, I'll ride in the trunk, but I'm going to hold the lid up. Because we're just take the side roads down, then that way the kids would be safe. Well, the driver thought it was funny. Once Matt sat in the trunk, he closed the lid on him, hopped in the car, and started speeding down streets, thinking it was funny, moving him around. He's bouncing around, everybody in the car could hear him just yelling and screaming. Instead of going to the party, he jumps onto the freeway, and he heads onto Highway 50 and hits the ramp, and he goes at about 70 miles an hour up the ramp, he spins out of control, he hits the side of the rail, and Matt launches out of the trunk, over the overpass, and lands on the railroad track, where he met his death. The car caught on fire. What do you think the driver did? He ran. As a matter of fact, most of the people in that car did jump out and run. When he was thrown out of the trunk, it pushed the trunk open, and then the trunk door came down again. So nobody could tell that somebody was thrown out of that trunk. CHP show up, and nobody says anything to the CHP that Matt was in that trunk. Not one person said anything, and this was early Saturday morning, 12:30 in the morning. Nobody said one word. He laid there all night. 9.5 hours later, a couple was jogging on Saturday morning, and they drive by and they find his body. They call the police. By this time, a lot of homeless people in that area, he's been robbed, his wallet's gone, his phone's gone, he has no ID. This is Saturday morning. The day goes on Saturday, we have no idea. It's not abnormal for a 19-year-old to not contact their parents for a day or two, or respond to text messages in a timely fashion. All day Saturday goes by. Now it rolls into Sunday. I'm talking to his parents. We're a little worried about him. Everybody's contacting him. We're reaching out to his friends. Somebody even posted on Facebook, R.I.P. Matt, and still the family didn't know anything. Not one of those kids in the car said anything to the police at all. Finally, one of his friends calls over to his father, and they say, this is the story I'm hearing. I know you're all too young for 9/11, but in 9/11, when that happened, I remember exactly what I was doing. I remember exactly where I was. I remember exactly what time of day it was. And this was another 9/11 for me. Sunday, I'm mowing the lawn. I just live right up here. I'm your neighbor. This is not something that happened in another country or in another state. I live right up here in American River Canyon North in Folsom. I'm mowing the lawn, just beautiful day out. My wife's in the backyard with one of my sons, and they're cleaning out the pool. And I just happened to turn off the lawnmower when I heard the phone ring. So I go in the house, I answer the phone, it's my brother-in-law, Lonnie, who's Matt's dad. And I said, hey, Lonnie. I don't know how to say this, but we hear that Matt might be in the morgue. We called over there, we're waiting for them to come to call us back to do an ID. I just couldn't believe, I just froze. I dropped the phone. I went to the backyard. I yelled at my wife, "We have to go." And she's just looking at me like, and I said, "Matt may have been killed. Living in Folsom and then living in Rockland is like a 15-minute drive, but that drive felt like it was like 30, 40 minutes. We're driving along and the emotions are just pouring down us. And we're crying and we're praying and we're going, please, God, please, let that boy, the Lord, not be our Matt." We arrive at the house and we're the first ones to arrive out of many. One by one, family members started arriving, and we still didn't know. We still had not had it confirmed. An hour goes by, we still don't know. We're starting to feel a little bit optimistic. The second hour goes by, and we're even talking about, well, if you hear anything, give us a call. We're all feeling that positive. It's a defense mechanism that kicks in. You just start thinking that, no, we're good. Then the phone rang. And I remember it because Lonnie took the phone and he walked outside and he closed the slider. And I saw him get down on one knee. And just then, that's when we knew. Just like that, Matt was gone. We're not going to see Matt get married. We're not going to see Matt go to college. We're not going to see... Matt was a perfect salesperson. I've always made the joke that we're all going to be working for him one day. We're not going to see how his whole life is going to spell out. At 19 years old, he just graduated from high school. It ended. It's hard to absorb. You're inside. You just feel like he's just going out of turn. It's not a pretend thing. It's not a role that we do in every 15 minutes. You're all going home. Matt didn't come home. And it stops right there. You were given 10 years. They caught this guy. He ran. They caught him 2 hours later. 2 hours later, he blew .15. Double what the legal limit is. This is the same guy that said, hey, I'm just sipping this beer. I'm being deployed tomorrow. I'm good to go. I know as a fact, Matt would not have jumped in that vehicle if he knew the driver was drinking. He had a designated driver. They made the decision based on what they were told. .15 is double. And they caught him. And he ran. And his life changed right then too. He was supposed to be deployed the next morning, and that all went to hell. That was gone. That was taken from him. He might have been a future hero saving lives. Instead, he destroyed lives. He took a life. He was engaged to be married. She was expecting. He went in jail that night, and he did not come back out until his sentence was over. He was a young kid too. He was 20. And his life changed, and his life continues to be changed. Because he made that bad decision. I don't get paid to come up here. I'm not even a professional speaker, as if you hadn't guessed already. But one thing I do come out here for is to hopefully I'm going to save one person's life. And that I can maybe make an impact. Maybe you can relate a little bit to it, since Matt was 19 years old at the time. I'm not here to tell you that, everything you learned today, that you're going to make right decisions going forward. But you know what? I'll give you some real quick stuff to think about. If you know you're going to drink, don't even bring a car. Because you know at the end you're gonna want to drive home. You have Uber. You have choices to make. And don't let somebody else make you drive. Nothing's more uncomfortable than telling somebody who's staggering out of your house, hey dude, I'm taking your keys, you're not driving. That's pretty uncomfortable. It's most likely going to be into an argument. But I tell you, I'd rather do that than walk you over to any one of your parents here and say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your loss. It's a huge ripple effect. It affects so many people. Make good decisions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Graxton, for that impactful story. Now, two of our Living Dead students, Catherine Borges and Jacob Marchuk, will share their goodbye letters to their families and loved ones. Dear Mom, Dad, and Robert, yesterday I died. At the hospital, I could hear you, I could feel you, but I could do nothing. I felt Dad pray over me, Robert's kiss on my forehead, and Mom's touch. I wish I could have woken up to let you know that I'm here, and I'm still here. But I was without control. Getting into that car will forever be my biggest regret. I want to go back, I want to redo, but I'm too late. Robert, I hope you have an amazing experience beginning your life at GCU. Become the nurse I was never able to be, and live our dreams for me. Help save the lives of people who don't deserve to leave Earth as soon as I did. Mom and Dad, please don't blame yourselves or torture yourselves with guilt. You have blessed me with a life of love and opportunities. Continue to work through hardships together and double the love you show to each other and Robert in response to my absence. I will forever regret my mistake, but be waiting patiently to someday see you again in heaven. I love you forever, your sister and daughter, Catherine.
Dear Mom and Dad, yesterday I died. I never saw it coming. It was just any regular day. I waved goodbye yesterday morning, and as I went to work and school, fully expecting to come home. I saw my friends during the day, but didn't get the chance to say goodbye. I never thought it would end this way. Over the past few months, I have become more and more excited about going to college, so focused on figuring out what I want to do with my life. I finally landed on becoming a doctor. The people I wanted to help, the things I wanted to learn, the family I wanted to have, will not come. Nevertheless, I pray that my sacrifice will lead others to more carefully consider the ramifications of their actions. I love and miss you guys so much. Give Caleb a hug for me. But given all this, fear not, for by faith in Christ, I will see you again on the other side.
Thank you for those beautiful goodbye letters. I'm sure they touched the hearts of everyone in this room. Now we will have John and Allison Hovey, followed by Larry Caldera, share their goodbye letters to their deceased children.
My dearest Hunter, never did I think we'd be here today upon your death, talking about your short 17 years of life. When you were born, as new parents, all your dad and I could think about was who you would become and what you would make of your life. I'm so proud of who you became. You were smart, confident, sweet, and empathetic. You were respectful to others, and especially your elders. You were constantly thanking me, and so appreciative of all that your dad and I did for you. I could not have asked for a better son. Your dad and I knew you would make a great husband and father one day, that you'd be successful at whatever job path you chose. These life accomplishments we will never witness. There was no doubt you would live past 17 years, but because of one person's fatal decision, my life has been altered forever. My heart is shattered and my soul is tarnished. Never will my world be the same. The feeling of losing you is indescribable. I will never feel complete for as long as I live. Your presence in my life allowed me to be a better person. I learned how to parent from raising you. I learned how to see others' strengths through your vision. I learned that kids just want to be heard and listened to. You are the reason I have grown to be more patient, and the reason I understand the power of apology. I choose to remember the good times we had with you, the long family Monopoly games, watching you wake surf, time spent at Lake Tahoe, Christmas mornings, and the dynamics evolved between you and your brother. I remember the day I got a glimpse of your wit. Your dad and I were thinking about having a third child. You were 4, and Logan was 2. We were sitting in the back together, and I asked, Hunter, would you like another brother or sister? You looked at me with a blank and confused stare. You took a moment, and then patted your brother on the back and said with a smile, sure, we can get rid of this one. I knew right then I was on an interesting journey raising 2 boys. It makes me sad to know you will never grow old together, and Logan lost his best friend for life. I am blessed to have shared 17 years with you. I will be reminded of you when I see any 8-inch lifted truck with 37s, when you are watching football, and when I pass by a Chick-fil-A. I promise you that I will continue being the best version of myself for Logan and ensure that he has the support he needs through this devastating time. I promise you that I will live in the present, celebrate the small wins, and continue to keep your spirit alive through acts of kindness. And most of all, I promise to love you forever, my beautiful boy.
Dear Peter, I'm writing these words that attempt to honor you the way you deserve and to share again what you hopefully already know. Your impact on our family and everyone fortunate enough to know you was profound. Your curiosity, wit, love, loyalty, calm demeanor, and leadership skills were beacons of light that illuminated our lives. You made us better, and your absence leaves an irreplaceable void. From a very young age, you would lift us up with your infectious enthusiasm. Your joy was contagious, and it filled our home. No family album is complete without photos of you and your goofy grins and silly poses. You turned a simple thing into a moment of laughter and had an uncanny ability to find joy in the simplest of things. Your mom will say goodbye in her own words, but the joy you brought her were like arteries to the heart of our family. From the early days, your inquisitive nature thrived under her guidance as you grew. She became not just a mother, but a huge supporter of your biggest goals and a source of unwavering encouragement. Even when she did not fully grasp all the details or what was going on in the field, she was on board. I will greatly miss the rivalry with your big brother Christopher, the banter, the competitions, and the laughter. It was the soundtrack of our home, the way you admired him and yet never held back in trying to outdo him. From the eternal topic of who was faster to the heated battles of Smash Brothers, the competitive brotherly love will be missed. You should know that you made him better. At the same time, he was helping you along the way. From the youngest of your cousins to the oldest family members, you had a way of making everyone feel seen and cherished. You were passionately faithful and supportive with your friends, and your loyalty to your many teammates was unwavering. Rarely a harsh word was spoken about those that you competed with or against, and I will always admire that. I will always remember the sense of accomplishment when you signed to play baseball at Sac State. How you were already ready and preparing for the test of pushing yourself even further. You should know that the many days we shared on the baseball field or on the way to a baseball field were some of my best ever. Peter, I just really want you to know that beyond the pain and the grief, as I write this, there is pride. I can't say enough about how proud I was to be your father. Even in my many, many failures, you would acknowledge my efforts. You just did your best. The memories we shared are forever etched in my heart. I will carry you with me. Your laughter, your spirit, and most of all, your love. You may no longer be physically present, but your soul will forever echo in the laughter of all those who loved you. I just pray that your loss is not without a message for those that you surrounded yourself with, and that they learn from the result of a poor decision. Rest in eternal peace, Peter, until we meet again. Love, Dad.
We appreciate you sharing those vulnerable and kind words about the loss of your kids. Now we have Lieutenant Tyndall sharing his wisdom and advice on the choices of drinking intoxicated.
Thank you. Again, my name is Josh Tyndall. I'm the commander of the South Placer Station in Loomis, which provides public safety services for the Grand Bay community, along with our partners in the Highway Patrol. I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about choices, but before I do that, I just want to say again, thank you to everybody who's helped put this on. It's been an amazing job, and especially the guest speaker story. We think that. Thank you for sharing your story with us. So for us in first responders, every 15 is more than just a number. It's unfortunately it's a reality. Over the years, every high school in Placer County has had some type of incident that you've experienced over the past 24 hours. These numbers are real. They affect real people, real families, real communities. For you, this is a simulated situation, but you're feeling real emotions. Remember these emotions. Our goal is to avoid this being real. One of the roles of the sheriff's office is that is a coroner investigator. For those that don't know, a coroner, anytime a death occurs in the county of Placer, a deputy coroner will investigate that death, including DUI crashes, and that also includes making notification to the family that their loved one's lost. Too many times, we've made those notifications in real life. A short story, the gentleman earlier shared, he knew where he was at when he was notified of his loved one being lost. Years ago, I was a deputy. There was a DUI crash on Auburn Folsom in Placer Canyon. There was a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old brother-sister. They were sent to SRMC, similar to this scenario. The 15-year-old son, I had to let the parents know that he had died while their daughter was being operated on, and they actually used some of his organs to keep her alive. Fast forward a couple years ago, I'm on another call, and a gentleman's telling his story to one of my partners. In mid-story, he sees my name tag, and he saw a ghost. Unfortunately, I was able to block it out. I didn't remember until he told me exactly who I was, and then I made the notification to him however many years ago. So again, too many times we made that, and we want this to be a simulation, and we want this to be the last time, please. With that, though, this is a wonderful time for you. You have a lot of ability, a lot of power to make a change in your life and your future. Life is all about tough choices, right? The decision to drive while impaired and the decision to get in a vehicle driven by somebody impaired is solely your choice. It is predictable and it is preventable. So you're the next generation, you have the ability and you have the power to change this number from 15 to 30 to 60 to a day to a week to a month. It's all on your shoulders, and you have the ability and I have the faith that you can do that. If a wrong decision is made, it causes a ripple effect, much like if you throw a pebble into a pond. So if you indulge me for a second, if you're a member of the Living Dead or the Living Dead's family, would you please stand? Please stand, thank you. If If you're a first responder or staff member that helped participate in this event, would you please stand? Now this is where the audience participation comes in. If you knew one of the living dead, you were a classmate, a teammate, a teacher, a friend of one of the living dead, if you knew one of them, please stand. So just take a second and look around at that ripple effect. Thank you, you can be seated. So that one decision, good or bad, can have that ripple effect, right? So I thank you for your time, and please let these tests be simulated. And again, I trust in you to make the right choices. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Tyndall. The scary thing about choices is that they can be deadly. The beautiful thing is the choice is ours. From 1 minute, you can have it all. And the next, all that can be taken away in an instant. We want to share this as a reminder to not take the small things for granted. Cherishing life, which means driving responsibly.
Nobody wins in this situation. Think about the loud absence in your home that will never be filled. Think about there being one less player on your team. Think about all the milestones that you never accomplished. This doesn't have to be a reality. You are given a choice, make the right one.
Thank you for joining us for this memorial service. We would like to invite the victims, their families, and the first responders to a luncheon in the small gym. Thank you to all the local businesses that donated towards this cause. Thank you.